Hey everyone, it's Michael, GoosebumpsFan. I hope you're doing well today. First off, I want to start off the video by thanking you guys for being here. I'm going to bring my camera a little bit closer to me. I think the camera angle's a little bit off today. I don't know, it might be the new setup. My wife kind of moved some things around in here, so like the bed that was right here moved over there. It's a little wacky right now. Anyway, so the last couple of days I've been a little sick. I started throwing up on Thanksgiving night. It was really bad. Black Friday, we were going to go out shopping that morning with my grandfather and my mom. It ended up not working out just because I was so sick. Still had some really bad fevers and chills and whatnot. So we just kind of stayed inside all Black Friday and just hung out here at the house. I got like no reading done the last couple of days because I've been so sick. So I'm not sure if I'll be able to get another review out before Monday. I'm going to try to, maybe tomorrow with it being Sunday, but I can't promise that. I do have a couple other things I want to do. We're currently decorating for Christmas, which we have our first house we're renting, so we're trying to be like just bombastic. Lots of Christmas stuff, like it threw up everywhere. It's like a Hallmark movie, but worse. Anyway, so we're enjoying that right now, having a blast with that kind of thing. But I just want to thank you guys for sticking around for so long. I'm sorry I had to cancel these Q&As for so long. I'm glad I finally had the chance to go ahead and throw up the announcement video a few days ago to try to have some kind of announcement for you guys so we could do some kind of questions. I will probably go through all of the questions you guys asked. Not many of them are very long. Some of them I'm hoping I could be kind of quick-winded on. Hopefully this video will be under an hour. I doubt it, but maybe. We're going to try. So we're going to jump right in. I want to thank you guys again. I hope you had a great Thanksgiving. Stick around. I'm going to do them from newest to oldest at this current date on Saturday night at 9:19 p.m. I'm going to take a taste of my ginger ale too. Ginger ale is the best when you're throwing up, I'm telling you. Make you feel so much better. Now, Swayam Desi. I can't pronounce that name. He had 4 questions for me. Number 1, do you watch anime? Not actively, but I do have a couple that I love. The second question is, what's, if yes, your favorite anime? My personal favorite's Dragon Ball Z. I think Dragon Ball Z is a masterpiece. I know it's repetitive. I know people can't stand the original version of it without being the Dragon Ball Z abridged or whatever it was. Whatever the one is where they summed it up and shortened the seasons. I don't like that. I hate the music. I hate the change of the Frieza voice actor. But I love Dragon Ball Z. Goku is like one of my favorite characters of anything ever. I know it's a repetitive series, but he's great. I love the characters on that show. I love the names. I love everything about it. The art style. It's great. I love it so much. I have so many great memories about it. Naruto's pretty good too. I watched the entire Naruto show on Hulu. I had seen parts of it when I was younger. I never got to finish past the testing section of the storyline, and I really liked everything up to that, and then after that I just got bored. I'll be honest with you. It ain't perfect. I haven't seen Shippuden yet. Now, question number 3, favorite Goosebumps book. At the current moment, it's a tie between Ghost Camp and Goosebumps 1 of the Haunted Mask and The Haunted Mask 2. I love all 3 of those books so much. They are fantastic, they're scary, they're creepy, they have a little bit of humor mixed in a little bit. Great books, seriously. Number 4, best Goosebumps series. At this current point, I would say that I think I prefer the classic series over everything else, but I do have other ones that kind of follow up, like the Give Yourself Goosebumps books, but for different reasons. Mainly because those are so adventurous, so silly, so fun, but they don't have the scare factor a lot of the time that I really need. As a horror fan, I need that part. That's where a lot of the other stuff kind of comes in, kind of benefiting, like the Series 2000 books and some other stuff like that. But the classic series, probably my favorite at the current moment. Thanks for keeping the Goosebumps series alive and keep reviewing Goosebumps. We appreciate your patience and hard work. Bro, it ain't no hard work, trust me. I appreciate you guys for being patient with me, because your patience allows me some time to kind of enjoy my life a little bit, because I get really busy here lately and just overwhelmed. By the way, there's a vent literally right underneath my tail here, and it's gonna get hot. So if I start sweating, I'm sorry. So it's gonna get gross. Anyway, thank you so much for your questions, dude. All right, Reagan, what's your favorite book out of the Horrorland series if you had to choose, and why? It's my favorite series, and since you finished reviewing them all, I'm curious. Oh man, I just did a ranking video on that, on the whole series. I cannot for the life of me remember what number 1 was. I can't remember, I'm sorry, dude. It's just because I've been so busy and being sick the last couple of days, I still have a little bit of that weird dizziness there. But I do have a ranking video. If you want to see my ranking of the entire series, I have that up recently. It's a little long, probably 20 minutes, 30 minutes, somewhere in there, but it'll answer your question. So, I'm trying to think, what was that book that I put at number 1? I can't remember. I'm sorry. I'm really genuinely trying. I cannot remember to save my life. But there were some really good ones in there. Some really, really good gems. They had their problems sometimes, but there were some really great ones in there. So, sorry, Reagan. Please check that video out. It'll help you have your answer if you really care about that. But, yeah. So, thank you. All right. What do you think of the new... Oh, sorry. Shady Side Library. Okay. What do you think of the new Stein Tinglers series coming out? Will you give these books a read? I didn't know what he was talking about when I was filtering through the comments to see how common the same kind of questions were. I saw this and I was like, I haven't heard of the Stein Tinglers. Maybe he means the Spine Tinglers. Maybe they're getting a revival series or something. And I looked into it, and there is a new book series from R.L. Stein coming out sometime soon called Stein Tinglers. And it's a short story collection for kids in middle school, middle grade, whatever. And kind of the Goosebumps audience, you know, Stein's typical audience. And I'm excited for that. I really hope it's good. I'm going to pick them up. I'm going to collect them as much as I can, just like these new Creep Show middle grade books. I want to pick those up too. I just started watching Creep Show Season 1, by the way, and it's phenomenal. It's so good. I love it tremendously. It's not perfect. It's got a little cheesy and a little bit of low budget to it, but man, it's a good show. I really dig that. I can't wait to pick up Season 2 sometime. Anyway, yeah, Stein Tinklers. It looks cool. I love short stories. Short stories are where I really thrive as a writer myself when I work on writing. But I prefer that to a lot of novels, you know, that can be good. Now with Stein, I've read his Tales to Give You Goosebumps book series. I'm assuming he wrote all those short stories, but if he didn't, that makes me feel better, just because I feel like a lot of those stories really didn't work the way they needed to. Maybe they didn't have the pacing or the time that they needed to really become a Stein story. So I don't know. I'll be curious to see what these are going to be like as a series. As far as I know, there's only one book coming out. I don't know if there's going to be any more, but Stein Tinglers, are you guys going to check that out too? Anyway, Shady Side Library, thank you for your question, man. I hope it's a good series. I hope we can talk about it here on the channel at some point. Let's see. Muhammad Ali Imran CH. Is there a Goosebumps book you wished had a sequel but doesn't? Let's see. Probably Ghost Camp, because Return to Ghost Camp doesn't count. If I'm being honest with you. Return to Ghost Camp is such a slap in the face. Have you read any of the Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark books? If so, what is your opinion? I love Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. As a matter of fact, that urban legend storytelling that Alvin Schwartz has for those particular stories are how I wrote my recent attempt at trying to get published for a short story collection about 6 months ago or 8 months ago, a year ago, something like that. No one really wants to publish that kind of book anymore, and I don't know why. To me, if you're telling the right kind of tale, maybe it was me, maybe it wasn't me, but I feel like there should be more books out there that are like that. Kids like myself, or teenage adults, whatever I am, remember that book for how terrifying it was because of the drawings and how well they fit with the terrifying tales themselves. They work together. You see the recent reprints with the new art. It's not good. People don't like that. That's why they started putting the original art back on there. And you see how it sold tons when they started doing that again. People became obsessed. Their kids became obsessed. Everything else. It wasn't to the grand scale like Goosebumps and whatnot, but Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark is amazing. And by the way, yes, I love them all. The first one may very well be my favorite out of all three, but there's great stories in all three. I'm not a big fan of the comedy aspect of them. I will say that. The comedy aspect can be very hit or miss for me. I'm not really a comedy guy to begin with, but they are more of a middle schoolers type of comedy, if you will, or more of an elementary schoolers type of comedy. But I think the writing style is phenomenal depending on what story we're talking about. Pretty much all of them really get me. The art is great on every single one. Let's see. I'm trying to think of what else I wanted to say about that. Oh, I did a video for all three books individually. I love them all. I recommend them all. Easily, hands down. I have a lot of copies either. I also have a collection of every single one of the versions that have come out. I don't know if I got all of them, but I bought pretty much everything I could see on eBay because I love Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. But yeah, that's it. Have you read any... Oh, I already read that question. Do you still have high hopes about the new Goosebumps show? No. I don't think it's coming out. If I'm being honest with you, I don't think it's going to happen. I just feel like we've had so much empty time, there's no way. There's no way it's still coming out. I don't believe that for 2 seconds. So that's my personal opinion. Thank you for your question, Muhammad Ali. Mesbro Studios, are you going to review Goosebumps the game from 2015? Yeah, I want to. It's been a little crazy, a little busy. I also want to review the Goosebumps movie. I've only reviewed Haunted Halloween, which is Goosebumps 2. I've only talked about that when it comes to the movies. There are some bigger things that people would know better that I just haven't talked about yet. I just haven't had the time or haven't really had the want to. When I got back into Goosebumps, I watched the Goosebumps movie that I saw one time in theaters before that. I watched it probably 4 or 5 times back to back, and over the last few years since I started this channel, I think I've watched it maybe once or twice. You know, so it's I'm a little, I don't want to say burnt out, but a little overwhelmed with that movie. I've seen it so many times, I just kind of wanted to slow down, take my time, really enjoy it next time I watch it. I'm just like that. I like to savor things, you know what I mean? But at any let me try that again. At any point, I want to get around to reviewing that game. I really liked what I played of it, and I really liked what I saw of it on the walkthroughs I watched to try to finish it up. I almost beat the game, and I got stuck on a part that was just completely unfair, could not figure out what to do, had to watch walkthroughs to figure out what to do, and from that point on, I just never finished the game. But I did watch the whole walkthrough all the way through, and I really liked it. It's a really great game. Really atmospheric, great music, some cool stuff in there, just some great scares, some jump scares that are really good. I want to talk about it at some point, but still, I'm gonna try. I want to talk about the board games at some point too. I bought like every board game that existed, and I just can't, for the life of me, get around to making a video about it. I don't really know how I want to do it, if I want to open up the board itself and try to show you part for part and explain how to play it, or if it's worth even doing that. I haven't really figured out what I want to do with the board games. So that's why I talked about them a long time ago and haven't reviewed those either. But eventually I'll get around to the 2015 game. I do have it for Nintendo DS. It's not too different from what the Switch looks like, but I might buy it for Switch as well because I'm a collector. You know, I'm trying to complete all of it. Anyway, thank you for your question, Mesbro. Trending videos. If you ever finish reading every single Goosebumps book, what would this channel be about? I'll be honest with you, I've talked about this and I've thrown this question around a little bit. I'm not really sure. I don't know what I would do. I know that people like Zach Baby TV went on to doing kind of a Mr. Creepypasta type of true Dogman stories type of thing. I don't think I could go that route. I don't have the time to edit and stuff. I don't. Never had time with it right now. I'm glad I never got into that for this. I don't really know. I've said it before. I probably would just keep this as a side channel for Goosebumps focused stuff. If there's news announcements, if there's any kind of book announcements or anything, any new releases, I would probably talk about them. If Stein would, God forbid, pass away anytime soon, make a video about that. It's going to be a while till I finish up this channel. If I had to bet, I will probably at some point end up having kids or getting ready to have a kid before I'll ever finish this channel, because I'm only barely like halfway through all the books. I'll be honest with you, I have a while to go, and I've slowed down so much this year. Because one thing I've noticed about myself, I can't read in the room when there's nothing but silence. If I'm reading comics, that's one thing. If I'm playing a game, that's one thing too. Like on my Switch or my DS or whatever. But I'm realizing more and more I can't read in a room if my wife has the TV on or whatever. I just can't focus. I've never had that problem before. I never realized how much that affects me personally nowadays. It's a weird thing. I don't know if it's because I'm getting older or what. But I can't just tune out background noise. I can't tune out people walking across a hallway or something if I'm reading in a room or in a waiting room or something. I don't know what it is with me. Something's wrong with me. Anyway, so it's taking longer to have the time to be able to sit down and actually read the book. So my point is, it'll probably be a while till that happens. I really don't think you guys have anything to worry about. There'll probably be tons of more releases before I ever finish up this channel. But if I do finish it up, it'll still be here. As long as YouTube is around, the channel will be around. As long as I don't get removed, the channel will be around. I will try everything in my power to keep every single review up. I've gotten one copyright strike the entire 2 years I've been around here on this channel. So that should be able to work out just fine and good. But I'll probably focus more on one of my other channels. I'm working on some other stuff. Like I have one channel I review regular horror novels. And then I have one channel that I'm kind of reviewing just horror movies and stuff. And we're getting into the Christmas season, so I'm kind of focused more on Christmas movies and stuff. This is kind of the part of the year where I really slack off a lot from Goosebumps stuff, just because I just kind of stop reading stuff. I just kind of read like The Christmas Candle from Max Lucado, and then I watch a lot of Christmas movies. Some Christmas movies I haven't watched in years. Like I'll try to catch up on those. I have a lot of cartoons I watch, like the Rugrats and Toyland couple of episodes, that two-parter for that. That's great stuff if you haven't seen that. The SpongeBob Christmas special about Christmas Who or whatever it's called, that's a great episode too. There's so much stuff I keep up with that it's going to be kind of hard to juggle that throughout December. So, even so, that's my whole point here. You have nothing to worry about. If you could own any book franchise, which would it be? I don't know, man. I don't really read series or franchise. I mean, I love Goosebumps and I love certain comic book characters. Like right now, I recently realized today, as a matter of fact, that Spider-Man Noir had a recent trade paperback come out, and I bought that, and I've read about 40 pages out of the 100 pages of that story, and I'm pretty Surprised by how much I'm liking it, but kind of also disappointed in other areas, you know? So, if I had an obscure thing, it would be like Spider-Man Noir or Spider-Man 2099 or Venom. If it was something more popular, maybe Goosebumps. I don't know. I really don't have much to say with that, dude. I don't read book series or book franchises very often. I don't know. The closest it comes to for me being involved in that is like Jonathan Mayberry's Pine Deep trilogy. That's really it. You know, I don't read like fantasy and stuff either, so you know. All right, last question. Have you watched other R.L. Stine shows like The Haunting Hour or Nightmare Room? I saw bits and pieces of Nightmare Room when I was a kid. I remember the VHS tapes at Hollywood Video having like Amanda Bynes on there, and one that had a ventriloquist dummy and the guy that played Reese on Malcolm in the Middle. So that was pretty cool, but I don't think I saw much of that show. I was mostly into Goosebumps and what is the Nickelodeon one? Are You Afraid of the Dark? That was pretty much the two I was really into. But I did see The Haunting Hour a couple of times on Netflix, and I thought it was great. I really like it. I've bought most of the episodes on either Vudu or Amazon Prime. I'm pretty sure it's Amazon Prime. I bought a ton of the episodes on there. I've watched a big chunk, if not almost all of the show, and I love it. It's a really good show for the most part. The first episode I saw was the one about the girl and the doll, Lily D, and it was phenomenal. I've seen that 2 or 3 times now, and I love it. The Christmas episode is also very good about the family and the divorce thing. Really good episodes, man. Haunting Hour has a lot to offer. It's kind of like a modern Goosebumps, in my opinion. All right, trending videos. Thank you for your 3 questions there. Give me just a second to take a drink. Let's see. Mr. Bido, or Bateo? I think it's Bateo. What do you think of Goosebumps Horror Town and Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach? I can't stand Goosebumps at Horror Town. I'm just not a fan of that kind of game. My wife loves games like that. If she was a Goosebumps fan, she would probably love Horror Town. She doesn't really know anything about Goosebumps. She's seen some of the episodes with me. She hasn't read any of the books or anything like that. So if she was into that kind of series, she would love Horror Town, because she already plays like 20 billion games on her phone that are just like that, like these Farmville knockoff type things. One of them was called Klondike. She loves it. But for me, I just don't like it. I've tried Horror Town a bunch of times. I cannot get into it. I'm just not a fan of it. For the kind of game it is, I guess it's fine, but it's not for me. I don't like that kind of thing. I like real games, you know what I mean? Like, if I'm going to play a game, I want something like, like Grand Theft Auto. I want a Goosebumps Grand Theft Auto game. Anyway, Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach. I'm assuming Security Breach is either the newer one or it's the one that just came out a while back. I don't remember which one it is. But I have not played the Five Nights at Freddy's games, but I have, well, I think I might have played a little bit of 1, maybe 2, I don't know. I played a little bit of something. I think vaguely I remember something like that, but I don't think I've ever played them. Maybe, maybe not, I don't remember. But even so, I love Five Nights at Freddy's. That's the one thing I will say. I love watching Markiplier's videos here on YouTube for that. They've always been entertaining. They're always really fun. But yeah, that's pretty much my opinion on Five Nights at Freddy's. I'm a fan of Five Nights at Freddy's. Thank you, Mr. Bido. Thank you for your question. Guess who? Your opinion about Rob Zombie films. Do you hate it or love it? My boy. All right, here we go. Rob Zombie, first ever experience for me was the Halloween 2007 remake. I loved it at the time. I was a little uncomfortable with how much nudity and violence, in the sense of like the white trash violence was in that film. To this day, I hate that part of that story. I love the third act of that first movie. And then, it just so happens, I'm one of the only people on the planet that love H2, which is the sequel, Halloween 2. I love it for the most part. The endings all suck. I don't care which ending it is, and I know why they're bad. I understand with the whole studio thing that happened, but the endings of every single version of that series suck, or that particular film. They all suck. But I do like Rob Zombie's pieces of his 2 Halloween films for the most part. Now, when we talk about House of a Thousand Corpses, I was into it for the most part. I'm not obsessed with it like a lot of people, like my friend Matt is. However, Devil's Rejects, hands down his best flick. It's fantastic. I loved it. It was great. 3 from Hell is the third of that trilogy, and it's pretty solid. I don't hate it like a lot of people do. I think it's fine. It's not what I would want for a trilogy, but it being Sid Haig's situation and whatnot with passing away and being so sick at the time, I get it. You know, you can only do so much, but I liked what we got for the most part. And then I saw 31. And 31 ain't perfect, but it's got some great stuff in it. Richard Breaker, or Beaker, or whatever his name is, he's phenomenal in it. He's really, really scary in that movie. I have not seen Lords of Salem yet. I saw his portion of Beavis and Butthead Do America. That was pretty great with his choreography for the art and the music or whatever for that scene. But overall, I like Rob Zombie's music more than his movies. But he's going to kill the Munsters. The Munsters is going to be terrible. It's going to be a white trash gothic family, because that's what Rob Zombie does best. I'm not excited for that at all. I'm a huge fan of the Munsters, and I'm not looking forward to that at all. At all. But even so, I think Rob Zombie is extremely talented. I think if you see a movie, you're going to know it's from him. That's more than I could say for about 95% of filmmakers nowadays. And I do think that Rob Zombie is the kind of man that you have to admire, because he walked away from Hollywood and he started doing his own thing. And it's mainly because it seems to me that he has enough integrity to realize that modern Hollywood is going to ruin everything they touch. They want to censor everything. They want to kind of politicize everything too. I would say they politicize pretty much everything now, and he's sick of it, and I don't blame him. His kind of movies could not survive nowadays. And it's kind of sad, because artistic creativity is not allowed anymore, and it's a shame. So anyway, that's my personal opinion on Rob Zombie. His flicks. Thank you, Guess Who, for your question. Darian Rampersad. If you had to let go of 10 Goosebumps books, which would you choose to let go of? 10, that's a lot. I have a lot of doubles. I'll be honest with you. I have a lot of doubles, and I have a lot of hardcovers that I even have doubles of those too for books I didn't know I had in hardcover. Probably those, if I'm being honest with you. If you're talking about like you must get rid of a particular thing, maybe the Slappy World books, because they're so accessible right now. I don't know. I'm very nostalgic and I'm very sentimental, and it's hard for me to get rid of things. I'm a pack rat, dude. Anyway, moving on to the next part of the comment. Thanks, bro, for uploading consistently. I don't upload consistently, man. I'm sorry, you must have me confused with somebody else. Thank you. And just being an awesome dude. I'm not an awesome dude, but thank you again. Keep it up, bro. Can't wait for the next vid. Thank you for watching, man. I appreciate you. Hayes, do you watch NFL? Hell no. I'm not a sports guy at all. I like hockey. I used to watch the NFL a lot when I was younger. It was kind of like that try to fit in phase, I guess, when I was in like high school, middle school, somewhere in there. My team was the Vikings, and you see how to this day they have not done well since Brett Favre left after like 2 or 3 games. He got injured and then he was down, and it hasn't been well since. But the Vikings will never pick up their game ever again. But I gave up. I don't care about it. I'm not your typical American, surprisingly enough. I'm not a football fan. But I do like my hockey here and there, man. That can be fun. I don't like basketball either. Not a fan of most sports. Soccer sucks. I'm sorry, man. I know I'm probably pissing a lot of people off, but that's how I feel. By the way, I will always stand with Tom Brady and the Buccaneers. I don't know what's going on with that. I guess it's your team, man. Hey, that's cool, though. That's cool, though. All right, Ryan Waku, my boy. Okay, let me think. Number 1, what are you excited for the new Spider-Man film? If not, why? All right, we're getting into some territory here. Now, I want to start off with a couple of big smoking guns here. So, I cannot stand No Way, or what is the last one? There was Homecoming, and there was like Long Way Home. I don't know what the second film was. The one with Jake Gyllenhaal that they completely screwed Jake Gyllenhaal in. Anyway, wasn't the biggest fan of Homecoming. It was alright. And then they had the second film and it was okay. I thought it was pretty bad compared to Homecoming. But I love the first 2 Sam Raimi films like most people. I actually like Spider-Man 3 okay. It's got its problems, but it's not terrible. Amazing Spider-Man 1 is my favorite Spider-Man film. I love Andrew Garfield. He's my favorite Spider-Man. Amazing Spider-Man 2 is terrible. It's one of the worst, if not the very worst Spider-Man film. At least it has Andrew Garfield. I can't stand Tom Holland as Spider-Man. However, Spider-Man 3, this new one, No Way Home, is very clearly going for the Spider-Verse type of thing. It's very, very clear from the leaks online that Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield are going to be in this flick. If they are not, I will eat my hat, but I'm very clear that these spoilers and these leaks and these photos, they look pretty real to me. I am only seeing this movie in theaters because of Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire. Let me make that very clear. I don't care about Alfred Molina coming back. I'm super stoked about my boy. I can't remember my boy's name. God, Willem Dafoe. Willem Dafoe, my Green Goblin from when I was a kid, coming back to play Green Goblin in this flick. I can't wait for that. You got the Lizard coming back from Amazing Spider-Man 1. Sandman's coming back, but I don't really care about that. Jamie Foxx is coming back as Electro, but it's a different type of Electro, but I don't care. I just want to see this for Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire. That's the only thing I care about with this movie. I don't care about Tom Holland. I don't care if they kill him. I don't care if Doctor Strange dies, even though they're making a sequel. It doesn't matter. They did that Black Widow thing. I don't care what happens with it. I just want to see Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire do things. That's all I care about. That's all I want. And if we somehow get Spider-Man 4 with Sam Raimi, or we somehow get Mark Webb's actual Amazing Spider-Man 3, I would be totally down for that. I would be 100% down for that. I would support the crap out of No Way Home just to get those two movies. Those two feats taken off the ground and start doing their own thing again. I would also kill if Spider-Man Noir got to show up in this movie. I am relatively certain that the black costume Spider-Man with a weird Doctor Strange time travel thing on his arm, I'm relatively certain that that's Tobey Maguire. I'm almost certain of it, because just the body build and the angle they took the photo, or the shot from, where it's like looking up at him, I'm relatively 100% certain that that's Tobey Maguire in that costume. It just looks like his body frame. But yeah, that's my personal opinion. I can't wait for it just because I want Andrew and Tobey, and if they're not in it, I'm going to be pissed. I'm going to be genuinely upset and mad. I have talked to my wife to death about this movie. Supposedly the rumor is they're taking 3 different universes of villains to bring in, or characters or whatever. So I'm hoping my boy Tom Hardy's Venom will bring up himself into this as well. I hope. That's all I care about. I don't want any more Tom Holland stuff. I know his contract ends after this movie, and I can't wait, because I don't care about Tom Holland Spider-Man. He's not good. He's trying, but Disney has completely ruined Spider-Man. I will stand by that till the day I die. I've been a lifelong Spider-Man since the 90s series. I love it. They have ruined that character. This completely ruined him. I don't care if it's a comic book issue with the crazy SJWs and what they've done with that over at Marvel and their nut house, or just what Disney has done with their nonsense with this movie series. They have ruined Spider-Man. He can't carry his own movie. It's a shame. It makes me sad. Homecoming was decent, and then the last one was terrible. They ruined Jake Gyllenhaal. They have no point to even have him in that movie. It is what it is. But I'm excited for this one just because I want Andrew and Tobey, and if they're not in it, I'm going to be pissed. But that's all I have to say. At least I get to see Norman. Willem, you know. Yeah. So, part 2 of his question. Post-pandemic, where would you want to take yourself and the wife for a vacation? Thank you, and God bless you and your family. Thank you, and God bless you, Ryan. I'm not waiting post-pandemic. I've already been on a couple of vacations during the pandemic. So actually today I was talking to my wife. I was like, hey, when are we going on our next trip to Tennessee? And we're trying to talk out those details now because we really want to go again. We love Tennessee. Tennessee, God bless you. That's probably it, man. I don't really like to travel a long ways away, like maybe 8 hours at maximum away from where I live, just in case of emergency with family or anything. I don't know. I'm really weird and safe about things like that. I will not get on planes. Not a plane guy, not an airplane guy, not a heights guy at all. Yeah. So that's pretty much it. Anyway, thank you, Ryan. Appreciate you, man. God bless you. Horror Channel Reviews, my boy. Question, do you know about the drama series NCIS Bones Cold Case? Yes, I do know about those. If yes, what's your opinion on those? Happy Thanksgiving, God bless you. Happy Thanksgiving and God bless you, my friend. I hate all those shows, to be honest with you. NCIS and Bones are the ones that my wife loves to death. I physically cringe when I think about those shows. They just scream to me low-budget knockoffs of CSI, the original CSI, the one with Grissom, the good one. That's what it reminds me of. It's just a knockoff of that. That probably knocked itself off from something else, and so on and so on and so on. I genuinely hate most TV. That's why I don't watch TV. Stranger Things 2 is the greatest example of why I don't watch TV. The first season's phenomenal. It should have ended. It should have died off right then and there, and they kept going, and it just ruined itself. Nobody likes it that much anymore. Breaking Bad's about the only long-going continuous TV series that I've genuinely liked almost all the way through. The last season's a little wish-washy for me, but most of it I genuinely love. But yeah, most TV shows, Arrow, Flash, all of those I gave up on because they got so stupid. Yeah, that's pretty much my opinion on this. So, yeah, you're welcome. Thank you for your comment, my boy. Goosebumps completionist. What Goosebumps books stick with you on a daily basis? Like when you think of Goosebumps, the books or whatever that comes first to mind. Definitely Not a Living Dummy, 1, 2, and 3. Haunted Mask, 1 and 2, and one of the Haunted Mask. And I would say Ghost Camp. Those are the real big ones. The ones are like my favorites, you know. For whatever reason, those are, to me, the face of Goosebumps, you know. When I think about it just off the top of my head, when I bring it up in conversation, those are usually the ones I describe to people to kind of pique their interest. Because how often do you hear a book series that talks about a living dummy, like a ventriloquist dummy? You usually hear about living dolls. That's been done to death. Nobody cares about stories like that. Everybody's seen at least one version of something like that, whether it be from the Twilight Zone or whether it be from some random kid's book at Barnes & Noble. Everybody has seen that story done in one shape or form. But a ventriloquist dummy, most kids nowadays don't even know what that is, you know? I would be willing to bet that most people that brought their kids to see Goosebumps in the theater had not known what a dummy was until they saw Slappy in that movie. I'd bet money on it. I would bet you money that that was the case. It's my personal opinion. Okay. What book would you place in the OG 62 with a book that should have been made? And why? Would you replace in the OG 62 with a book that should have been made? Oh, I see. You're talking about take this one away and put it with maybe another sequel or a series or whatever. To me, I actually wish the original Monster Blood had not been made. I think it sucks. It very clearly to me is the first one written. I don't care whether Welcome to Dead House came out first or not. I'm telling you, Monster Blood was the first one written. Just as a writer, I can read that book and tell how amateur it was and how it was clearly Stein could not pinpoint what he wanted that series to feel like yet. And of course, these books go back and forth between being darker, being comedic, and then being a little bit of both. Sometimes they're adventurous more so than the rest of the books. You can feel the difference a lot of the time, and that's cool. I like the variety. But Monster Blood, to me, is a very special type of boring, a very special type of bland. Just the first book. I think 2, 3, and 4 are actually very good in the OG 62. I prefer those tremendously, especially 2. I like that one a lot, if not love it. But the original Monster Blood, to me, should have just been replaced with something else. I would have almost rather just taken that out of the whole equation, made Monster Blood 2 actually Monster Blood 1, and just kind of moved everything backward and put something else in there. I don't know what I would have put in there, maybe another Slappy book, but... you know, what do you want me to tell you? I'm not R.L. Stein. But I don't like the first Monster Blood book. That may very well be my worst of the OG 62 at this current point. Mind you, I haven't read Chicken Chicken or anything like that yet. But it may very well be my worst of that 62 at this current point. I don't know. Alright, last thing. Name your holy trinity of Goosebumps books at the moment. Your top 3 favorite Goosebumps books. Doesn't matter the series. You can also pick short stories and or episodes if you choose. Oh, man. If it's involving episodes as well, my top 3 of anything are Not a Living Dummy 3, the 2-parter for the episodes, Haunted Mask 2 for the episodes, and then Haunted Mask 1 for the episodes. That's it. If you're talking about books, it's actually the same exact picks. It's, well, with the OG at least, it's Dummy 3, Haunted Mask 2, and then one of the Haunted Mask. But OG, I guess I'd include Haunted Mask 1. I don't know. It's something like that. Dummy 3 will always be like my favorite of both the books and the episodes. It's phenomenal, it's so good, it's creepy, it's fun, it has so much going for it. I just love it so much. I think it's the best of the original Dummy books. But even so, yeah, I think that the Haunted Mask books from the OG series are phenomenal, really, honestly. Thank you for your questions, boy. Hayes, if you were writing Goosebumps books, which direction will you choose and what changes will you make? I would stick with the darker path, but I think that Goosebumps needs that comedic levity, maybe every other book, maybe every 2 books, something like that. I wish Goosebumps could get back to being more of a frightening type of thing. I think the closest we've gotten was It's Alive, It's Alive in the Slappy World series. We have not really had much of a scare factor aside from the Ghost of Slappy book. That was pretty great until the ending, you know. Diary of a Dummy had some great iconic moments for me for when it comes to any book. Not much less a Slappy book, but it had some great set pieces to it. Yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. But I would go down the darker route. You know, I'd probably have a co-author, you know, who would do the more comedic routes, and I would stick with the darker books just because I can't do comedy, you know what I mean? Like, I can get pissy in real life and have an attitude and some smart aleck comments on some certain things, but for the most part of my writing, I can't pull that off. It either has to be very dark and poetic or kind of pulpy, or I can't do it, you know? It has to be one or the other. I can't do off the comedic stuff that Stein can do. Stein has a very distinct writing style for a reason, you know? He's very particular author that I love because of how distinct he is with how he writes a story. He's great at it. Anyway, thank you for your question, Hayes. Give me Goosebumps. Once you're done collecting the Goosebumps books, what would you ever move on to the merchandise or collectibles? Not really. I'm not a merchandise guy. I don't have the room for it. I've already got so many books and movies in my house. I don't have the room to collect merchandise and kind of seclude that off from everything else too. I feel like it'd just be one more thing that when I die, people are going to have to go through that. So I don't want to have to deal with that. I don't know what else I would go to. Probably, I mean, right now I've mostly got everything. I've got some things here and there that I'm picking up, like large print books. I think I have to get Welcome to Dead House, or not Welcome to Dead House, Stay Out of the Basement in hardcover large print. And then after that, I think I'm pretty much done. I think that's the end of the hardcover large prints, unless there's a Haunted Mask one. I think that'd be the next one I have to find. But aside from that, that's really all I've got, aside from new books popping up here and there. I saw one guy on Facebook a while back. He found a Attack of the Jack-o'-lanterns TV book, which is number 16, in hardcover somehow. Honest to God, I don't know how much money he must have spent on that, unless he found it for a great deal. But it was a library binding in hardcover, and I don't know where you'd get that. I don't know where you could possibly get your hands on that, but I would love to get one of those just for the collecting factor of it. But I have number 16 in paperback. I'm just glad I own a copy of it. That's all I care about. That was the most money I'd ever put on a Goosebumps book. I don't want to tell you how much it was. I don't know if I ever told you guys, but I don't want to now. But even so, I would love to get a hardcover of that. That would be my big thing I would go for. Also, do you still believe that there's a chance for the Goosebumps show to still come out? I kind of lost hope, laugh out loud. I'm not holding my breath. To be honest with you, I'm pretty confident that it's dead. If it ever came back, I'd be shocked. Now, there are some situations like Creepshow that I was talking about. Creepshow was supposed to be brought back by M. Night Shyamalan, and it died, and then Shudder brought it to life. So that's pretty cool. You know, I really dig it so far. It's probably better than what Shyamalan could have done anyway. So it's possible it can come back if it has the right creator. What I think is that they need to bring myself and Goosebumps Ozzy Fan and Zach Baby TV into the platform. Maybe Completionist, maybe Austin Monster Blood, all of us, and just make us do it. I could do it. I don't mind adapting Goosebumps books. I can't write Goosebumps books, but I could totally adapt them into episodes. That might be more difficult. Today's different nowadays. It ain't the 1990s, man. But I would have a blast working on something like that. But, yeah, I don't think the show's happening. I don't think so. That's just my personal opinion. You guys can hope for it all you want, but I don't think it's going to happen. All right. Thank you for your question, by the way. And I hope you had a good Thanksgiving. I hope you did, too. Give me Goosebumps, my boy. Cyberfan, on the off chance that a Goosebumps 3 ever gets made, if it isn't about Horrorland, what would you like it to be about? If it happens to be about Horrorland, I want it to tie into the Jack Black ending of Goosebumps 2. It ain't gonna happen, though. If it ever does, I would be happy with that. But I don't think it will be, and I don't think Jack Black would bother carving out the time to come back either. What would I want it to be about? I still think a soft reboot's the best way to go. Soft rebooted into a stop-motion animation flick, like a Tim Burton type of thing. But don't have the boring filler in the film like the Tim Burton films typically have. Do a straight-up stop-motion animation flick. Maybe a two-part story, maybe one storyline for half the movie and another storyline in another half of the movie. Something like that. You don't need a super long movie to tell Not a Living Dummy, you know? You don't need that. And you could do it right. You could make it a good, effective thing. You just need to make it actually scary. Kids like scary movies. I don't care what people say about it. I think they do. I think the proof is there with Goosebumps in the 90s. And Scary Stories Tell in the Dark in the 80s. But that's my personal opinion, as I said a billion times. Anyway, thank you for your question, Cyberfan. Grayson the Goosebumps Kid, my other boy. Hey, Michael, here are my questions. Number 1, what are your top 5 favorite Goosebumps villains? Dude, I don't know. Off the top of my head. Slappy, Haunted Mask. I really like... there's one that's like... It's a GYG book. It's like... There's a GYG book that me and Completionist have both talked about on our channels. We both reviewed this thing. And it's like a birthday book. Is it Dr. McDeath? I think is what it is. I really like him. The It's Alive robot I really love. And the head monster thing from Ghost Camp. I really love all those monsters. Or villains or whatever. I really like all those things. They're probably my favorite of all these things. Anyway, yeah. Number 2. What are some of your favorite Resident Evil games? I'm a huge fan of number 1. The original, not the remake thing. That's okay. I haven't played it. I haven't really watched any walkthroughs for it, but I love the original. I recently watched the entire walkthrough for Markiplier for Village, the new game. And that was great. I was very impressed. I have never played 7, and I've seen bits and pieces. I watched most of his walkthrough back in the day, but I really, really, really like 7 and 8. I'm very impressed with both. The graphics look great. I wish we'd had more of certain aspects of Village that weren't kind of ended so early on in the game. But Village was great. 7 was great. 6 was terrible. 5 was boring. 5 was difficult too, dude. I'm really bad at these games anyway. I'm bad as a gamer anyway. 4 is a great storyline, but I suck at that game. 3, 2, and 1. 1 is my favorite. 2 and 3 are okay. 2 and 3 I like because they have the tank controls that Silent Hill has. I'm a big tank control guy. I love that. But yeah, Silent Hill 1's my favorite. Or Resident Evil 1's my favorite. Could you possibly read some of these books either in December or next year? The Girl Who Cried Monster, Stay Out of the Basement, The Haunted Car, I Am Your Evil Twin, Phantom of the Opera, or Phantom of the Auditorium, and The Blob That Ate Everyone. I actually don't have any of these on my list right now. The thing is, so I'm hitting my Alzheimer's stage of my life at 27 years old. I went to my bookshelf the other day to pick out the new book to review for the end of this week to try to have out for you guys tomorrow, and or today, since it'll be Sunday when you guys see this video. I wanted to have the review out today for you guys, or tomorrow, in my case right now, my weird time loop situation. And I genuinely, looking at the ones that are at least in the front, because I have my bookshelves kind of double stacked. There's the front row out in the front where you can see it when you walk up to the shelf, and then there's the back row. When I went up to the front, I couldn't remember everything I had read, all the different front of the rows that I had looked at. And I had to kind of stop and be like, did I read this? Did I read this? Because they've all kind of blended together, man. I looked at my list the other day, I've read like 150 of these things. So I'm not even like halfway through, I don't think. Maybe I'm a little over halfway through, something like that. But I'm getting a little overwhelmed, I'll be honest with you. I'm trying to figure out what I need to read next or what I want to read next. Just because time is so short, I'm reading adult horror on the side, I'm reading comics on the side, all kinds of stuff when I have time. Yeah, it's just been a little hectic. I want to have some more time for that kind of stuff, but I will try to get to these books at some point. It's probably going to be more next year than this year. We're getting into December. I have some things I want to read this December, like The Snowman from R.L. Stine, Secret Santa, which is an adult horror book I want to review on one of my other channels. I got a lot of Christmas movies I want to watch. The Christmas Candle from Max Lucado is phenomenal. I want to read that again. I don't know if you guys know this, but It's a Wonderful Life was actually a Christmas card, and it was published as a book from, I think it's Philip von Doren Stern, I believe is who it wrote it. And I read that like every year too. I have a big like Christmas Tales collection on my Kindle. It's like 3,000 pages of just a bunch of short stories and little excerpts and things. And I've read quite a bit of that. I want to read more of that this year too. I'm just going to be kind of busy with a lot of Christmas stuff I want to do, so I don't know how much Goosebumps stuff I can get out this month. I know I've been kind of slacking this year anyway. I'm going to try to get stuff out at least every 2 weeks, but I can't promise you it'll be flying out of here. I'm going to try, but I can't promise it just because it's been so hectic and, you know, work is busy this year. I don't have a week off from work like I usually do. They think we're super far behind. I'm still hoping that we get our shutdown like we usually do for a week or so. I don't know. If I get that shutdown, man, you'll see some new content from me. Maybe I'll get to some of these books, but I can't promise it, dude. I'm sorry. I'm super busy. I got a lot of stuff I want to do. Being married really opens up a lot of doors that you have to make time for certain things with your wife, and family and celebrations and cutting down Christmas trees and all that cool stuff, having some cocoa, just enjoying family time. It's good stuff. It's good stuff, and I wouldn't throw it away for anything. So this Goosebumps stuff I have to kind of put on the back burner nowadays. It kind of sucks having to do that, but you know, it is what it is. I'm thankful for you guys understanding that. It's a different thing. I'm not used to having a life like this. You know what I mean? Before I got married, I had the time to kind of do all this at one go. I had the energy and everything else, and nowadays I just don't. I just don't have the time for it. It just gets a little hectic, you know, but I don't want to throw it away at all. I love it. I love talking to you guys. I love reviewing books with you guys and talking about it with you and discussing it with you in the comments. It means a lot. It really does. I'm surprised a lot of you have stuck around as long as you did. So anyway, sorry, man. I'll try to get around to those at some point, Grace, and I thank you for the recommendations. You've been giving me a lot of these over and over again. I really want to get around to them at some point. But, sorry, man. Just be patient. I'll try my best at some point. Let's see. God bless you, Michael, and happy Thanksgiving. P.S. Got my permit yesterday. Can't wait to start driving. Yeah, God bless you, my friend. Happy Thanksgiving. I hope you enjoyed it. And congrats on the permit, once again. I hope you had a great time with that. I hope you're enjoying the driving, man. It's a different world when you start doing that. It's fun times. Hope you have some good times, man. Be safe out there driving. All right, Monster Blood, my boy Austin. Have you read many of Stein's point horror books? If so, what are your favorite and least favorite ones? I think I've read some that don't count as point horror. I think. I don't think I've read any point horror aside from the couple that are kind of like point horror books. Like, there's two of them that I've talked about. It's like a Halloween book. I don't remember what they're called. He's read them too. So, I don't know. But still. Have you read and liked any other point horror books? Like I said, I don't know. If you could sit down with any author, living or dead, and let them mentor you or give you suggestions on your writing, who would it be and why? Now, let me say this. My favorite writer is either Stein or Jonathan Mayberry or Brian Keene. I think one of the best writers out there that can give you some of the best advice would be Stephen King. Easily. I think Stephen King has some of the best writing understanding that I've ever understood in my life, that I've ever read in my life. The problem is that Stephen King is so... What's the right way I can put this? Stephen King, he doesn't take his own advice. He might tell you to trim the fat, he might tell you to kill your darlings. He does not do that with his books. His books are like 700 pages on maximum, just constantly. Every book that comes out is like 500 pages, 600 pages. To be fair, he started that trend, and most books nowadays that get published are like that. Twilight is like 600 pages for the first book. Why? Why? King started that problem. It's just become an issue where every kid, every teenager, every adult, young adult, whatever, that starts writing a book for the first time, like myself when I got into writing back in high school, you just bloat the book out. And it doesn't need that. One thing I'm learning more and more as I get older from Goosebumps and with Stein's work and whatnot, I miss books being like this, where they go from plot point to plot point to plot point, chapter after chapter. You don't waste the reader's time. You don't make the audience sit through garbage that they don't need to know about. I don't care if it's a thought process, what color the room is. They don't care about that. Readers do not care about that. Fantasy readers might. I don't care if you waste your time there. But do not do that in the horror genre. Do not do it with people who just want to read a thriller, man. This is one thing that Maxwell Grant got right back in the Shadow days. You know, he got it, and it was short, and it worked great with the Shadow magazine, you know. You don't need to waste the reader's time. I understand people use the argument of, oh, it's for character development, or it's for environmental atmospheric development. No, it's not. No, it's not. Purple prose can solidify that easily. But anyway, the reason I picked Stephen King is because he could criticize your work in the best possible way, and I think almost in the gentlest way, too, to try to help you understand what would work the best. He also has some of the best ideas. I don't care if they're drug-induced or not. He still has some of the best ideas I've ever seen in reading. So, that's my personal opinion. Stephen King would be great for that. You know, even though I love Mayberry, I love Keene, and I love Stein so much. But yeah, let me move on to the next question. Let's see. One of these Goosebumps books has to be erased from existence. The Headless Ghost, which I haven't read since I was very young. I've had the same copy for ages. The Invasion of the Body Snatchers, Part 1 and 2, Ghost in the Mirror, or Welcome to Camp Nightmare. Ghost in the Mirror. Oh, I haven't read that one either. That's the Series 2000 book. I haven't read the Invasion of the Body Snatchers either. I liked Headless Ghost. And I think Welcome to Camp Nightmare is relatively creepy until the ending that sucks. So I'd say Welcome to Camp Nightmare. I don't remember Headless Ghost, so I could be wrong. Maybe I'm making a terrible, jaw-dropping decision here, but I remember liking that one a lot when I was younger. I don't remember anything about it, but I still think it's going to be better than Welcome to Camp Nightmare. So, Welcome to Camp Nightmare is my choice. This question was kind of random, laugh out loud. Thank you, Monster Blood, my boy, Austin. Appreciate your questions and all your support, man. EB, the original master. I think I'll pass asking questions for this Q&A. I forgot that he posted that. All right, Mike Who, my boy. Have you seen the SpongeBob films? I have seen the original one. That's it. Number 2, who is your favorite Ghostface killer? The original ones. The original ones. Mainly the one whose name starts with a B. Number 3, which is your favorite Freddy kill? Freddy Krueger kill is what he means. You know, I really like the cockroach kill. I don't remember which movie it is. I think it's either 4 or 5, but I love that kill. It's great. It's so scary. It makes me freak out and cringe every time I see it. Number 4, how excited are you about Slappy World 17 Haunting with the Stars? It could be cool. It's very ethereal, and I hope it's going to be a good one. That's pretty much it. Number 5, which Scream film is your least favorite? Number 3. Number 3 is so bad. Number 2 is bad, but number 3 is really bad, like in a special way. I haven't seen Scream 4 in a long time. I recently got it on Blu-ray for my birthday because I wanted to see it again. I haven't seen it since theaters. But the first one, I'm very, very much of the opinion that Scream 5 is going to be rough. I'm very much of the opinion that Scream, the original, is phenomenal. It's fantastic. It's perfect. And then the Scream TV series, for mainly season 1, is phenomenal. I love it. I think it's the best sequel that we've gotten of anything, if it's not a direct sequel. I love it. It's perfect. Season 2 is really, really, really good. Really, really, really good. I haven't seen season 3. I don't really care. Queen Latifah bought the rights at that point. I don't care about that. But yeah, Scream 5 I'm not super stoked about. Have you seen the Patrick Star Show? It came out around July. I did not know this existed, nor do I want to watch it, but I do love SpongeBob. But I don't know if I could do a Patrick show without SpongeBob. That sounds to me like Tom Kenny wants to leave. You know what I mean? Number 7, out of all the stories in the Tales to Give You Goosebumps series, which of the stories you don't like? Dude, those are a long time ago that I read those. A lot of those things left my brain. One of them I remember is like a Nutcracker story in the Christmas book, the final book, book 6. And I remember being so disappointed. I wanted like a killer Nutcracker story, and it did not happen that way. It was about like a time loop story. It pissed me off so bad. Anyway, number 8. What's your favorite Ghostface kill? Mine is the pole to the face in Scream 2. I want to say the Drew Barrymore kill. That's a great one. That's an iconic one. No one saw that coming. Let's see. Number 9, have you seen Gremlins? Yeah, I wanted to talk about Gremlins sometime on the channel. That's a very Goosebumps-like story. That movie scared me to death when I was a kid. Absolutely scared me to death when I was a kid. But yeah, Gremlins is a good one. I showed my wife that for the first time like 2 or 3 years ago, and she was terrified of it, but also had a good time because it's cute. Anyway, number 10, what did you think of the Scream 5 trailer? Like I said, I think it's going to be rough. I think that trailer sucks. I'm going to be honest with you. I have no hope for that movie. The things I'm hearing about it right now, the possible ties to the first film, I'm not excited about that movie. I gotta be honest with you. I've had 3 bad Scream movies back to back. At least Scream 4, I don't really remember that well. I remember leaving the theater not being super excited about that movie back in the day. That was like 10 years ago. Maybe longer, something like that. But I remember not liking that one either. So I have no hope for this one. I don't see what you could do that Wes Craven already tried. I don't think it's going to work. Alright, my boy Steven Chavez. By the way, thank you, Maiku, for your questions, man. I really appreciate your channel and the support here on my channel and so on and so on. You're a great guy. Appreciate you, man. Steven Chavez. Pretty good video. Here's my 6 questions. By the way, these questions are slightly changed from months ago last Q&A video. Okay. My first question is, do you think R.L. Stine is ripping off Stephen King books? Absolutely. Absolutely. You see the haunted car? I mean, that's absolutely Christine. No questions asked. Yeah. My second question is, have you played any of the Dragon Ball Z games? Yes, I love Dragon Ball Z. As I said earlier, my personal favorite is Budokai 1, 2, 3, and Tenkaichi. Or is it called No, it's Dragon Ball Z. It has the word world in the title. I forgot what it's called. It's like Budokai. It should have been Budokai 4 in my opinion, but it's like that, like World Championship or something like that. It's a PS2 game. I love it. It's even better than Budokai 3 was. It's very good. Was it World Tournament? It was something like that. I have 2 of the PSP games. I love those to death. I played every single one for Game Boy Advance and Game Boy Color. I have played... I want the ones for Switch. I want all of them. Kakarot, Fighter Z. I want everything for the Switch. Let's see. Tenkaichi 1 I bought, and I sucked at. I hate that whole, like, just... It's not a free roam, but you know what I mean? Like, it's not like an arcade fighting game like all the Budokai games were. It's like you get to fly around, destroy areas. I hate that. It's terrible. It's so hard to control. I've never gotten used to that control scheme. I do not like it. Tenkaichi 2 and 3, all 3 of those games look great. They physically look great. The graphics are great. The environments are great. The music is great. I can't stand the control scheme on them. But yeah, that's pretty much my opinion on those. But the cover for Tenkaichi 1 was phenomenal. It's great. Really great. Yeah. My third question would I like the skeleton have his own stories or a series? Yeah, but I don't think it would survive now. If it'd come out in the 90s or the 2000s, I think it would have done fine, but not now. Not nowadays. No one knows who Curly is nowadays, I think, unless it's an older Goosebumps fan like myself. But, yeah. That's pretty much my opinion on that. It's kind of sad, honestly, because Curly deserves more respect. He's kind of cool looking in the old original cover for Tales to Give You Goosebumps. And even the traditional Curly with the mohawk and stuff looks great. Most kids would probably like that, but I don't see it happening, man. I don't even know what you could do with Curly, you know? Maybe have him run an underground crypt or something the kids just happen to wander into, or like fall into holes out in graveyards, and that's where they end up. Reminds me of that one story from Cameron Chaney, the YouTube author, that I read his book, Autumn Crow. Is it Autumn Crow? Yeah, Autumn Crow. It reminds me kind of that final story in that particular first book. So, yeah, it could be something like that. It could have been really cool. I think it was called Crypt TV, I think was the title of that story. Even so, I think it could be something like that you could pull off. That could be fun for a fan fiction idea. You guys should try that out, you know? Alright, let's see. My fourth question is, would you review the new artwork book? Yeah, absolutely, whenever it gets released. I don't know if it ever did or not, but I don't think it did. But when it comes out, I want to buy it. I want to talk about this. I've done like every update and review that Steven Chavez has told me about the date getting moved back. It's been moved back like 7 times over the last year and a half. So I just kind of gave up on making updates about it. But when it comes out, I do plan on buying it and reviewing it at some point. I'm hoping he'll say in a comment on this video, like, hey, it's been released. But we'll see. We'll see. My fifth question is, would you like Tim Jacobus to do the covers again? Absolutely. Who wouldn't? Tim Jacobus would knock it out of the park, man. And I like what Brandon Dorman's doing now. I think his newer covers are great. But I think Tim Jacobus is a very welcome return that all of us would want. My last question is, would you like the Live on Stage Scream in the Night book to get a classic reprint? Absolutely, dude. Classic. I think Live on Stage is one of the best Slappy books. I think it's one of the best Goosebumps ideas for a storyline. I think it has so much going for it. It's such a great book. It's one of the first books I reviewed here on the channel, probably in the first like 10 book reviews I did. It's a great read. A really great read. It's not super rare either. You can get your hands on it for the book for like 15, 20 bucks. It's a good book. Seriously. I have a couple of copies of that, as a matter of fact. I really like that book a lot. But anyway, yeah. Steven Chavez, thank you for your questions, my friend, and thank you for all your support here on the channel. I appreciate you, man. Now, the last question is, guess who, once again? A Goosebumps book that everyone hates but you enjoy. Probably Haunted Mask 2. If I'm going to something more obscure and niche, probably maybe Monster Blood 4. Everybody hates that for some reason. I don't know why. It's very Gremlins-like, and everybody seems to hate it. I don't know why. But anyway, that is the wrap-up for the Q&A video, guys. I want to thank you all for being here. I'm sorry it took so long. I'm assuming it's about an hour. I don't have any stopwatch or anything here on my video or my phone. But yeah, thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. I'm sorry if I got gross or whatever. It's really hot right here with this heat on. Oh, I hit my hand right here on the attic door. Thank you for watching. God bless you guys. I hope you had a great Thanksgiving. I hope I gave you some decent answers to some of these questions. Maybe not too rambly for once. Anyway, thank you for watching. God bless you. And goodbye.